Hello, Class 4. Today we are going to be reading a non-chronological report on the Anglo-Saxons. Please follow along as we read, and as you can see in the background here, I have got a picture of the text. However, if you can't see it clearly enough, I will also be posting a copy of this onto the blog, which will allow you to use it from there. Okay, the Anglo-Saxons. For thousands of years, Great Britain's history was a stream of invasions and settlers. Between about 200 BCE and 43 CE, this small island was partially populated by warriors from Gaul, which is the part of Europe that is now France and Germany, who had a big influence on the language. Then the Romans took over, bringing countless customs with them. Over time, these people all became Britons. But before that, there were some epic struggles for power, replacing Romans. After the end of the Roman rule in Britain, in around 410 CE, new invaders arrived. Tribes from Europe combined to take over Britain. The largest and most powerful were the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes. Each tribe came from a different part of Europe. The Angles were from what is now known as southern Denmark, the Jutes were northern Danes, and the Saxons hailed from Germany and the Netherlands. These tribes crossed the North Sea and ruled Britain until 1066. We now call these invaders Anglo-Saxons. Anglo-Saxon life. In an Anglo-Saxon village, you would be considered an adult at the age of 10. Wowzers, children. You'd have far bigger worries than homework from school. You'd have to work as hard as adults 3 or 4 times your age. If you did anything wrong, you would also be punished as an adult. Girls would join the women who tended to the home by cooking meals, weaving cloth, and brewing ale. Boys would be trained in the same trades as their fathers. If your father made spears, so did you. If he ploughed fields, you did that. The Anglo-Saxons brought new languages that replaced much of the Latin the Romans had used. They merged together and formed a language now known as Old English, which unsurprisingly eventually became English as we know it. Despite this, very few Anglo-Saxons in Britain could read. More invaders. Vikings from what we now call Denmark and Norway invaded Britain between around 787 and 1066. They also made an impact on language. Many of the words used only in the Midlands and the north of England are Viking terms. The Vikings and Anglo-Saxons divided up the country over the next 200 years. Some kings of England were Viking, and some were Anglo-Saxons. In 1066, the Anglo-Saxon king Edward died, and Harold Godwinson was crowned in his place. However, others felt they had a claim to the throne, leading to even more people invading. First to arrive was an army from Norway, led by Harald Hardrada, but he was also defeated. Immediately afterwards, though, when the Anglo-Saxon army was exhausted, the Normans invaded from France. The great era of the Anglo-Saxons was over, and England was ruled by the Normans. The Anglo-Saxons still have a lasting impact on a lot that we do, though in fact the name they gave to the part of Britain they ruled was Angleland, which through time became England. Now I just want to clear something up. In the third to last paragraph there we see that the Normans invaded from France. Now that wasn't a group of men all called Norman. It wasn't, like a gang of Normans that all got together and said, "Come on lads, let's go and invade Angleland." No, it was actually the Normans. They hailed from an area of France which we now know to be called Normandy, and that's why they are called the Normans. That's an extra little fact for you there, children. So, children, you'll notice on Seesaw today that I've put 2 activities on there for you to do in relation to your guided reading. Now, it's the same amount of work that you did on your non-fiction from last week. It's just that last week, I know a few of you noticed that I'd cut off part of the page on the matching activity. So what you need to do, children, is read through the sentences on the fill the gap activity and retrieve the missing words or phrases to fill in the blanks. So that's using your retrieval skills. I would then like you to then, once again, we're still using our retrieval skills here on the matching activity, and using a ruler and a pen, or ruler and a pencil, or if you're doing it on Seesaw, you can just use your finger on the page on the screen. I'd like you to line up, to partner up the information. So you see on that first box, we've got new invaders arrived. So when did the new invaders arrive? Was it 787 to 1066, etc., etc.? Thanks for listening, Class 4. Hope you do well with this activity. As always, any problems, get in touch and I will help you. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.